Hi, it's Carter, the host of Coffee with the Carter Man, every Tuesday. Okay, on all the major social media channels. Plus, go to conservative. Let me get this straight. Constitutionalrightspack.com. You think I know the name of my own organization? Constitutionalrightspack.com. And you can sign up to have it mailed to you every Tuesday, just so you don't miss it. It's great podcast. The interview in the middle, in particular, always with a newsmaker, always with someone who you sit back and say, "Man, I'm glad I didn't miss that." So tune in. But today, in addition to talking about Coffee with the Carter Man, I want to tell you what's going on in Syria. Okay, you already know what. I want to tell you why. Okay, it has nothing to do with bringing democracy to Syria, making the Syrians a, quote, free people. They have a good bit of freedom in Syria already. They have freedom of religion. They have a pretty much a free market system, pretty much free market system. So if it's not to bring democracy to Syria, what's it for? Well, it's threefold reasons. Let's back up a minute first and say who's staging the aggression in Syria right now, the attempt to foment a civil war. It is the CIA. Okay, make no mistake about that. And their hand puppets are ISA and Al Qaeda. Well, wait a minute, Carter. I thought those were terrorist groups. Yes, they are. I thought they were our enemy. Yes, they were, until they became the handmaidens of the CIA. Okay, so that's who is doing it. Now, the why, number one, is because the timing is good because Hezbollah has been weakened by Israel. I'm thrilled Israel weakened Hezbollah, but the CIA said, okay, Hezbollah is not there to help Bashar Assad, so this is a good time to strike. All right, that makes sense. Number two is that Russia is otherwise occupied, to put it mildly. Okay, Russia is putting the finishing touches on Ukraine. The CIA war there failed miserably, as anyone with good sense knew it was from the start. It was going to from the start. There was never any question. It was just a massive bloodletting by the United States. The CIA, the deep state, did not care one iota how many young Ukrainians died, which is about 600,000 so far. Neither, of course, did the little grifter Zelensky, the man who probably has $1 billion in a Swiss bank account now, and whose wife bought her $5 million Bugatti with your tax dollars, okay? So the CIA, with 12 stations throughout Ukraine, has failed in Ukraine. So it needs victory, okay? They got together there in their dark back rooms and said, we need a victory. And so they said, well, let's launch try to foment a civil war in Syria. And Russia's otherwise occupied. So they said, now's a good time. So that's the second reason they did it now. Third reason is the most sinister of all, and that's because they knew Trump was going to come in and make peace in Syria. It's just that simple. Trump's first term, one of the reasons the CIA and the the deep state got rid of Trump was he had made it clear he was pulling our troops out of Syria. We do not have any right to have a base there, he said, and to take their oil the way we are, essentially to steal it. And we're pulling our troops out of there. And CIA said, oh, no, you're not. And the deep state, it's one of the reasons they engineered stealing the election. But now they say, uh-oh, Trump's coming back in. He's going to make peace in Syria. We got to make sure that we wage the civil war now. And so they unleashed they unleashed the terrorist army, the terrorist cadre, their hand puppets, to go and take Aleppo and probably attempt to take over the whole country. Now let me finish by saying this: So you know the who, the what, and the why. Um, let's get to the what they want for the aftermath. Okay, please let me disabuse you of any notion that our CIA and deep state want a democracy in Syria and a free people there. Okay, they could care less. As a matter of fact, they want to do to Syria what they did to Libya, and that is simply destroy the country, leave it in shambles, leave it essentially without a government. Let it be nothing but warring factions preying on each other. Absolutely, absolutely, they want that country to be left as rubble, just as they did Syria. Is it because they hate Syrian people? No. It's because Russia has a warm water port there, and they want to make sure that that port is rubbleized as well, okay? That's what our government is up to in Syria, okay? They don't care how much suffering it causes for the Syrian people. They don't care how many refugees are forced to flee the country, as they had to do in Libya. They just want their way, and that's to destroy that country once and for all for decades to come, okay? Not even to install a government, just to leave a vacuum, a vicious vacuum that causes suffering and starvation and the closure of a warm water port. Now, if you're like me right now, you're thinking, well, that's kind of sick. You think? Of course it is. Of course it is. Pray that when Trump gets in, he is able to say, this stops now. This stops now. We're not doing that to yet another country. Okay? We did it to Libya. We did it to Iraq. Iraq was finally able to start to come back from it. We have done it to countries all over the world, left them scrambling to try and rebuild themselves. We shouldn't do it here. We shouldn't do it here. It's not right. It's not fair to those people. Okay, so pray that Trump comes in, cleans up that mess, puts a stop to the CIA deep state devastation, and that we get a Trump peace, Pax Middle East, as he did previously. Well, let's do this thing.